Peace.
It's a coaching webinar with. What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning, everybody.
Randy Byrd, who is
Mr. Randy Byrd here
with EXP. He's a
and
coach with EXP.
In the background, you can mute yourself. We're going to get started here. Thank you for being here. I'm super excited about this and very, very grateful. I'm going to stop my countdown timer over here. Y'all.
All right, Bill Pipe's in the house.
Bill Pipe's in the house.
He ruthlessly contributes to other people's lives.
You guys heard my
voice.
affirmations. I didn't realize I wasn't muted.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think that was perfect, actually, Bill.
Beast mode.
I was doing my affirmations, and I heard you saying your affirmations. And I think that's beautiful. One of the things I remember about you the most is your young son doing his affirmations in the back of the car and just nailing them. And I don't know how old he was, probably around 10 at the time that I saw that, but that was impactful. That left an indelible mark on me forever. But listen, everybody, thank you for being here. This is our Friday Agent Attraction call. We have a mastermind call every week with the leaders, Don, Tom, Matthew, and many, many more. But I really appreciate this. We're recording this so we can share it with other people. We still have people coming in that I'll invite as we go. But with no further ado, I'd love to turn it over to the man of the hour, Bill Pipes, give a little bit of edification on Bill. I'm very blessed to be coaching with Bill, been coaching with Bill for a couple of years. Knew of him in the Tom Ferry organization, where I was a coach for several years. Really the leader of the company, minus Tom Ferry, obviously. They both were with Mike Ferry. Tom Ferry, Mike's dad is Mike is the father. Bill, you started with Mike back when you were about, what, 20 years old, I think it was?
20 years old, I got exposed.
20 years old, you started in that organization, and working for Einstein as a young man. But through that transitional journey, you've been coaching for many, many years, and then eventually went over to Tom Ferry in that organization where you now run Sales Edge. You've been the author of multiple programs. One of my favorites, which is Make Money Now, probably one of the most critical pieces for young agents and people really trying to make a stand in the real estate business. We got people coming on like crazy now. So we're going to have a great call, trying to let everybody in as we go. But with no further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Bill. And today, I'm going to let him go where he goes. He's the master at this, obviously, runs Sales Mastery for the largest coaching company on the planet and one of the most successful and prolific coaching companies on the planet. But I want to turn it over to him. And he's going to bring value to you guys today about agent attraction. And I kind of have a feeling where he's going to go, knowing Bill, but I'm going to let him run where he runs. I'm going to manage the Zoom so we can let everybody come in. I'm going to ask that you do a little housekeeping. Shut off your phones for this half an hour. It's going to be worth it. Put it on mute, face down, whatever it is. Get out a notepad, take some notes. This is for you. And when we have a guy of this caliber that's paid ungodly amounts of money to run around the country and train and coach and inspire other people, and he's here for free, delivering value just because of our organization, take advantage of that to the highest level. So with that, Bill Pipes, welcome. I appreciate you being here, and I'm going to turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, brother, man. I so appreciate this. I've been looking forward to this for 4 weeks since we've been in conversation about it. And I really do appreciate that super kind introduction. And hey guys, I know Randy can't hear you, but hopefully he can see you. Would you do me a favor? Either unmute yourself, then mute yourself again, and just give some love to the Birdman for putting this together right now. Because
Randy Byrd,
awesome.
Randy. Beast mode.
Randy, you're awesome.
So okay guys, I was up last night, excited about this call, writing, rewriting, what am I going to bring to you? What's going to be poignant? And I've got like 4 pages of notes for you. And I was saying to Randy earlier when we were sort of, prepping for this today, I said, dude, I'm going to be pretty hard pressed to get through everything I've got for them in, 30 minutes. So this, just so that you know, maybe the first of maybe a 2 or 3 part series that I do with you guys, if you would like that, right? So especially, I look at, my friends, I look at this time of the year is such a critical time of the year. I truly believe that Q4 is the most important time of the year, right? Anyone want to tell me why Q4 is the most important time of the year? And I encourage, like, just, open dialogue, conversation. Obviously, I know you guys are muted so that we can keep the background noise to a minimum, but I also like to engage with you guys. So why do you think Q4 is, with all the years that I've been doing this coaching, I look at it and go, Q4, most important time of the year. Why do you think?
I'll jump in. The market share that you gain in the last quarter, you'll never lose. And the market share that you lose, you'll never gain.
What's up, Tom? Good to see you,
Hey,
bro.
how you doing, Bill? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man. For sure. You know what, Tom? And all of you guys, I want you to think about something. Randy had said, like, I had the chance to be mentored by Mike Ferry. I've had some of the best mentors in the world. And I'm so grateful and humbled. Gary Keller was one of my mentors for about 4 years. And I got a chance to work almost side by side with Gary and Dinah Kokoska back at Keller Williams. And one of the things that Keller talked about during that time was, look, when other people are zigging, you zag. When you got like end of the year, it's the time to gain market share because every other agent begins to mentally check out. Have you guys noticed that? And we got this other thing called the election coming up, right? And I'm watching agents begin to lose focus. We're going to talk a little bit about this, lose focus, stop working as hard. And I look at Q4 and I go, oh my gosh, every single one of you, this right now is an opportunity like we have never seen before. I've been in the industry, and Tom and I were talking a couple of days ago. I've been in this industry for 20-something years. I have never, ever in my entire career seen a market as robust, a market as strong, a market that is going to keep driving forward into 2021, 2022, potentially even 2023, right? But you still have normal agents that are checking out. So number one, this time of the year is important because you can gain market share that you never have to give back, right? But number two, it's critical because, write down if you would please, it sets the stage for how you come out of the gates in Q1 of the next year. So you got to wear 2 hats, Nate. You got to wear the hat called, I'm going to crush the remainder of 2020, but I'm going to set myself up. I'm going to start making the moves that are necessary to support my goal, my numbers, right, for 2021 or this upcoming year, right? So you're really sort of, staggering the fence right here where you got to keep your focus on pushing hard for the next 90 days to finish strong, but also to have the momentum going so you don't have that normal agent conversation in January of like, oh shit, where's my money, right? Okay. And that is indicative of agents stopping working. So I'm going to talk to you twofold today, right? And we're going to get through as much of this as we possibly can. My goal and my intention, obviously, number one is to give you some strategies that you can use right away to get you really focused here between now and the end of the year. And then also to give you some techniques that are just crushing it. Now, it's interesting because I always go back and I always look at some of my old mentors and last night I was watching Mike Ferry, right? I haven't watched Mike Ferry in a long time and I always get inspired when I watch Mike, just old school, hardcore, grind it out. And I still believe, do you guys believe as agents, we still got to engage in the grind. We still have to prospect. We still have to, get on the phone, do whatever we're going to do every single day. How many of you believe that is still a fundamental part of this business? And no matter how much marketing you do, you still got to wake up, get on the phone, do some type of prospecting and follow up every single day. Raise your hand, say aye. Yeah. Yes. I love that. Right. So let's start here. All right. I have right now 20 agents that I'm coaching that will earn over $1 million this year. For many of them, this is their, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th year doing it. Of those 20 that are going to earn $1 million, I've got 5 of them that are going to earn over $2.5 million. I'm sharing this with you not to impress you. I want you to understand that. But what I'm going to do today is I want to impress upon you something, and that's I'm going to share with you what they're doing that's allowing them to be able to get where they are, but more importantly, what they're doing in Q4 right now, and I'm working with them. Would you guys like that? Okay, all right, beautiful. Because here's what I believe. Monkey see, monkey do. Success leaves clues. You look at what it is that other people are doing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, and you get there faster. I don't know about you guys, but I love getting there faster, you know, and the fact that you're attracted to this organization. And when I say this organization, I'm not just speaking about EXP. I'm also talking about the, you know, Randy and Tom and Don and that whole, environment, is because you're similar to them. You're hardworking, right? You're willing to do what others aren't willing to do. So, here's why I'm starting with every single one of those $1 million agents. We're getting clarity on a couple of things, and I want you to write this down. The number one thing that we're talking about right now, believe it or not, is what is their goal for 2021? How much income do they want to earn? How many units does that represent? And how will that break down in terms of buyers and sellers? And you may be thinking, well, Bill, aren't you talking to them about Q4? Well, yeah, I do. I fold that in. But anyone want to take a stab at why I'm already setting goals? I'm already looking at the numbers with this crew for 2021, for this upcoming year. What do you guys think?
To make that happen, you got to put those systems and processes in place now.
You got it, Don. That's absolutely correct. We all know, as Don said, that real estate, it's a 90-day cycle. And the work that you do now shows up in the commissions that you get in January or February. But to Don's point as well, too, what you got to look at is, it takes 67 days, according to the University of London and the studies that they've done and the research that they've engaged in, 67 days to create a new habit, right? And so if you've got new skills that you need to build, if you've got new systems that you have to level up, if you've got people that you have to hire, what the average agent does is they wait until like December, maybe January to start making those moves, and they've already burnt the first 90 days of the new year. Does that make total sense, guys? So here's the deal. You've got to start being the person, right? In your actions, your activities, your thoughts, your systems, your strategies, the people that you actually have on your team, being that person, leader, that agent now, so that you can support the goal that you have for January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December of next year. Make sense, guys? So here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like every single one of you to write down right now, what is your income goal for 2021? And how many homes do you need to sell to be able to support that goal? What is your income goal for 2021? And how many homes do you need to sell? And I would challenge every single one of you to make it aggressive, to think really big in terms of that growth. I've been hearing from a lot of agents, Bill, how long will this market last? Tom and I hear this Ferry and I hear this all the time. How long will this last? How long will this last? Well, if you look at all of the historic data, and I'm going to give you some right now that I think is really important. Does anybody know why this real estate market is so robust, why it is so strong, why it's overcome the pandemic and rebounded like we've never seen before, why it's overcome the protests and the riots, why it's overcome the fires? I want you to think about that for a second. Like, this market has overcome 3 fundamentally enormous hurdles, and it's still moving forward. What's driving this market? What do you think it is, guys?
Historically low interest rates that you can lock in for 30 years, whereas these crises are going to probably go on for 6 months to maybe a year.
Yep. And you know, Don, Don's absolutely correct. I'm not sure if you saw this. The Fed came out and said, we're keeping rates low until, anyone know the date, the year? 2023.
2023.
2023.
Unbelievable.
Watch. Yay, right? That plays into our advantage. But there's something else too, and this is really important because you're going to get clients, and you may have already had clients saying to you, why is this market so strong? We're worried that we're in a bubble, right? Is it going to crash? And what I want to give you today, the very beginning of this call, is some data you can use to support a conversation that will create some certainty for them to be able to move forward, whether they're a buyer or a seller, okay? What's driving this market is this. Write down one word, millennials. Millennials. And next to that, write down this number, 33%, or 31%, excuse me, 31%. Millennials represent, and that's the age group from 26 to 39, 40 years old. They represent 31% of the entire population of the United States of America. To put that in context, the baby boomers at their peak, and did the baby boom generation have an impact on the GDP, the thought process, the purchasing of this country for multiple years? Yes or no? Enormous. The baby boomers right down were 27%. This is the largest economic group and demographic that we've ever seen. If you look at what the National Association, and by the way, anytime you quote data, you want to be able to actually give a source when you're talking to someone, because it creates validity and it doesn't sound like your opinion. Keep in mind with buyers and sellers, if they think it's your opinion, they're going to go, of course, you're an agent, you've got something in it, you want a commission, right? Therefore, they don't believe you as much. But if when you quote, it's an NLP technique, it creates validity. Write down 48% of all mortgage applications are with millennials right now, according to the National Association of Mortgage Bankers. And on top of that, the National Association of Realtors pre-pandemic said that 2020 and 2021 was going to be the largest purchasing years for millennials in terms of buying homes. I think that was pushed back a little bit with the pandemic, so I think that'll actually spill over into 2022 as well too. And according to monster.com, out of the 9 primary professions that millennials have, only 2 of them were negatively impacted by the pandemic and unemployment. Only 2, guys. That was service industry bartenders and video production and editors, people that worked in the video fields, okay? That was it. All the rest, the financial analysts, the numbers, the individuals along those lines, their careers were not impacted at all. They worked from home, etc. So if you look at this, it's the perfect storm. Does that make sense, guys? Okay? And so when someone says to you, hey, you know what, Brett? Is this market going to be like, what's going to happen here? We're nervous about buying. Should we sell now? You can say, look, I don't have a crystal ball, Brett, but what I can tell you is this. And you give them all this data, right? And you say, so what we know is real estate will continue to perform because of the fact that there's more demand, this larger group, than there is supply. Now, this is really interesting. Once you write down one more data point, write down that 80% of the people who are selling their homes are 40 years or older. And you may even think about your own business and your own listings that you're taking and your own buyers, and you can see that it folds into this. So you've got this group, my friends, of individuals that are older, like me, I'm 49 years old, little bit less likely to actually sell or move quickly, because where am I going to go? Like my kids are 12 and 14 years old. I'm not selling my house right now. I'm staying in this sucker. I'm going to have them, finish up high school here. But you got people that want to gobble up the inventory. So you have this perfect storm. Does that make sense, guys? Now, here's my question for you. Could you use this data when you're working with a buyer to create certainty and confidence in terms of them moving forward? Yes or no? Okay. Could you use it for sellers to be able to have them move forward? The answer is yes. Now there's one more thing. People are always asking as well too, well, what's going to happen with this election? So this is not a political conversation that I'm having with you right now, right? Doesn't matter who gets elected, right? I honestly believe that, after this election, because 3, write this down, please. 3 out of the last 4 elections, 2008, 2012, 2016, 2004. 3 out of the last 4 elections, What has real estate done in November and December, after like the end of November and December, once the election has calmed down and the new president or the existing president is in office? What happens? What do you guys think? I see Nate and Brett going, it goes up. It doesn't just go up, it skyrockets up because the certainty is in place, the uncertainty disappears. So I would go through and get your historic data in your own marketplace to be able to look at and talk to buyers who say, we want to wait, and be able to share with them and go, hey guys, take a look at this. The longer you wait, the more competition you're going to have at the end of the year historically, minus 2008 because of the financial crisis, right? The market becomes much more active, more buyers come to the market at that point, which means, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you're going to be competing against more individuals, which means more offers, higher prices, and more challenges for you, okay? So you can use that to get them off the fence to act right now. Does that make sense, guys? Okay? So watch, there's the data for you. I wanted to give that to you because I think an educated salesperson has an ability to create, to logically present information, right? To have people move forward with their emotion of that fear of missing out on opportunities. So really quick, I want to pause before we get into some data, into some tactics. What questions do you have around this? Because this is a really important part of our call today. So questions, comments, concerns, clarification that's necessary.
The only point that I'd like to throw in there, Bill, that was amazing. And I like the fact that we need to quote the data source, quote the source, because truth be told, I've been quoting some of these numbers, but I have not quoted the source. And I think that's a key nugget right there.
Huge nugget. Yeah. It just makes it sound like it's not opinion, right? Because opinion creates resistance. Facts creates knowledge, and logic gets people to actually buy into what you're talking about without resistance, okay? Now, so you got your goal set. Second part is this. So I gave you all that data because I wanted you to see that 2021 is going to be a great year for you if you actually, continue pushing forward, pushing strong. I'd also like you to write down, based upon your goal for 2021, and also what you set as your goal at the beginning of 2020, what is your goal for transactions, appointments, listings taken, buyer sells, listings sold? Number of transactions, income, listings taken, listing appointments, buyer sales, buyer appointments for Q4. Right? And the reason I started, guys, with the annual goal versus the quarterly goal is because really December is going to support, in terms of its numbers, the closings you have in January. So you need to have that number in your mind to be able to know exactly how Q4 is going to play out. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. And then, hey, now excuse my language, but I've been known to be colorful. You put that shit up every place that you can see it, right? You put it up in your mirror where you're getting ready, so it has those goals. You put it up you put it on a 3x5 card and you carry it around with you. You put it in your office where you're prospecting. You need to keep that in front of you at all times, because what we focus on expands. Do you guys believe that? Okay. Something that I've learned from Mike Ferry, who learned it from Earl Nightingale, that learned it from learned it from Earl Nightingale, learned it from Zig Ziglar, from Napoleon Hill, and so on and so on. It just was passed down from generation to generation. Okay. So you got clarity. Now, here's the key thing. What got you here, my friends, ain't going to get you there. You guys get that? Okay. What got you here, and the disciplines, the skills, the behaviors that got you to the point that you're at, ain't going to get you to the next place. In fact, if you look at this wonderful book, not sure how many of you guys have ever read this one, Good to Great, right? Phenomenal book, right? Jim Collins, has written multiple books, but in Good to Great, it talks about why some companies make that leap forward and some don't. And we can say the same thing about agents as well too. And why the companies, like, anyone remember a company called Kodak? Okay. How many of you guys remember Kodak? How many of you guys remember a company called Blockbuster? Where are they now? They're gone. How many of you remember going into Blockbuster on Friday nights, right? Getting your freaking your VHSs to begin with, and then eventually it was your DVDs. It's gone. You know why they're gone? Because they rested on the laurels of what they had done. They didn't innovate and move forward. And the same thing is true for agents, right? And I think in a next call, I'll share with you some of the trends I'm seeing in agents and some changes that you guys need to make as well too. But here's what I would do for Q4. Based upon your goal for 2021, based upon you hitting, your goal that you had for 2020, I'd ask myself 4 questions. Here's the key 4 questions. Question number 1, what is the primary skill that I need to strengthen, develop, or add to my business in Q4 to finish strong and to set myself up for 2021? What is the primary skill? You know what, Donna, whether we like to, and by the way, Donna, I love your hair. Donna Marie, that is just absolutely freaking, that just kicks ass. I love it, right? So whether you like to admit it or not, we are still in a skill-based business. Can you guys agree with me on that? No matter how much marketing you do, no matter how great you are on social media, no matter how your lead generation is, eventually you're gonna have to get on the phone, you're gonna have to go out and present, you're gonna have to open your mouth. And if your skill level isn't where it needs to be, then you're only gonna earn up until where your skill level is. So when I say skill, I mean, do you need to, and you may wanna write this down, do I need to improve my prospecting skills? Do I need to improve my follow-up and conversion? Do I need to improve my listing presentation or my buyer presentation? Do I need to improve my ability to handle objections? Do I need to improve my ability to create rapport with people? Right? Those are all the fundamental skills really that we have. And what I'm doing with all my millionaire agents, whether it's them or their team, we're digging into what one skill. Now, look, I'm a strong believer that the road to mediocrity is paved by split focus. Listen to what I just said. The road to mediocrity is paved by split focus. I would rather you choose one skill and spend the next 90 days mastering that than choosing 4 and being mediocre at them all. Does that make sense, my friends?
Hey, Bill, what would you say with your $1 million clients is the number 1 skill that they're focused on improving right now?
Such a great question, Don. And I actually thought about that last night because I was hoping someone would ask that question. The name of the game in my world right now is get more listings, right? That is what my focus is with all of these individuals because, yes, the buyers are going to come, but it's just such a competitive buyer market right now that, they're writing up, and you guys can attest to this probably, they're writing up 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 offers just to get one buyer under contract, even some of the best agents. So what we're working on right now is leveling up their listing presentation for themselves and for their team. There's a couple of teams I'm working on them because their primary listing agent is them, transferring that skill over to 2 or 3 other people to be able to take that off of their shoulders. But it's all, how do we make our listing presentation more relevant? How do we set ourselves apart from the sea of sameness that's out there of everybody else that's promising the same thing, right? And how do we, create certainty around what we do so that we can get the full 6% commission as well too. So it's 100% listing based at this point. Does that make sense, guys?
I got to follow up to that. So on the listing based side, which is kind of the business side, what about on the personal side? Is it mindset? Is it, what is it for them, those top people in the nation that you coach with? What do you see as the number 1 characteristic? Is it prospecting for 2 hours a day? Is it mindset, or is it?
So I'm actually going to get to that. I want to give, Randy, I want to give them the 3 other questions I want them to ask because I'd like this to be able, but I absolutely want to do that. And if we go a little bit over, guys, are you okay? If we go just a little bit over, are you guys okay? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Second question you need to ask is this, okay? What discipline or behavior, what is the one discipline or behavior that I need to implement to support my goal for the end of this year and into 2021? Now, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, please let's connect on Instagram. The number one, to Randy's question, what is the number one discipline that my clients are working on right now is this. There's about 65 days as of today left of prospecting. Okay, that's it. Between now and the end of the year, 5 days a week. I set a personal challenge to just about every single person. I did this in August with a small group of individuals when there was 100 days left of prospecting. Okay, and I said it all started with one of my clients by the name of Robert Mack. And I said to Robert Mack, I said, dude, you're the most disciplined guy I know. You ride the Peloton bike every single day. You run, you eat clean. You're just a badass mofo. I go, but when was the last time that for 30 days in a row, you prospected 5 days a week? He said, I've never done that. I said, do you really want to go into this next year with that one discipline that's so important for your business still being the Achilles heel and the weak point for you? He said no. So what we started was that he was going to prospect 5 days a week, 100 days total between now and the end of the year. That was August. And he wasn't going to miss a day. And he was going to post it on Instagram on his story every single day as a public form of accountability. That has now grown and mushroomed into probably about 30 or 40 people, a large portion of whom I coach, that are posting every single day, 1 of 60, 2 of 60, 3 of 60, 4 of 60, 5 of 60, tagging each other. The discipline, I would tell you guys, that almost every single one of these $1 million agents are working on for themselves, if they're still in production, or for their team, is going into 2021 with the discipline of lead generation for at least an hour a day, doing their proverbial hour of power, right? Doing that every single day, come hell or high water, 5 days a week, because that is the most important thing when it comes to your business, right? It's not marketing. It's not all the other stuff that's fun and sexy and cool to do, but you do an hour a day and you do that for 90 days, your business and your life will be unfreaking recognizable. Does that make sense, guys? Now watch. I know you probably wanted me to give you some sexy like marketing stuff and all this cool things and some way to make it easy. And I will do that on the next call. But there is no substitute to the fundamental foundation for sales, which is talking to people, right? It's hand-to-hand combat. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Now, number 3, third question that you need to ask yourself. What systems do I need to work on, improve, or add to be able to maintain the new level of production? What systems do I need to work on, add, improve to be able to manage a higher level of production and productivity? Do you need to work on your system in terms of transaction management, listing management, client follow-up? Those are all systems, right? There's about 6 or 7 primary systems, or maybe inside of that, it's people that you need to hire as well too. I know, Tom, when you and I were talking just a week and a half ago, it was, this game of how do I get more people to actually duplicate what it is that I'm doing, i.e. that you said that you were doing. So that's something that Tom would need to work on between now and the end of the year. But see, there's 2 ways that you level up in terms of getting more time back. Either you hire more people or you improve your systems. Listen to what I said right there, because that's something that Gary Keller taught me. There are only 2 ways to actually become more efficient and do more, right? You either improve your systems or you hire people. That's how you get your time back. That's how you are able to become more efficient as well too. Okay. And then last but not least, number 4 is a question. Do you have the mindset? Are you thinking big enough? Does your thought, your personal psychology, I guess I'll put it this way. Does your personal psychology match and align with the new goal? Because you will only earn as much as your level of thinking. Listen to what I just said. You're only going to earn as much as your current level of thinking. There is a wonderful book by T. Harv Eker called Secrets of the Millionaire Mindset. One of my favorite books. T. Harv is a stud. And he talks about this financial thermostat that we all have. And he says, there's a lot of people that they are conditioned to believe that a certain amount of money is a lot of money. And keep in mind, I've been talking money because money is a measure in terms of your productivity. But at the core of that is serving and being there for your clients. You serve and are there and you have that servant mindset to them, you're going to make more money. But it's a measure that we use in business. So don't just think that it's greedy little devil pipes here talking to you about making more money. It's just the measure of service. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. So I would recommend all of you guys get Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker and read that in Q4. Now, I'm going to circle back to, and I think we'll be done here in a couple of minutes, and I'll open up for some Q&A. And then on the next call, hey, Birdman, I think we come back in 2 weeks. We do this again, right? That gives them a chance to be able to work on that. And then I can go straight strategic of what they can be doing as well, too.
Beautiful.
This is going to be the most divisive election we've ever seen in our entire life. Do you guys realize that? It's going to be dirty, brutal. Both sides of the aisle are just going to be really loud. And it has a potential, and I wrote this down, it has a potential to serve as a distraction for us, right? It has a potential to actually pollute our mindset. I know for myself, I believe I want to be an educated voter. So I'm studying on my own, each person's platform, what they believe, etc. But I tell you what I'm staying away from. I'm staying away from CNN. I'm staying away from Fox. I'm staying away from MSNBC. I'm staying away from all media and news because it's no longer media or news. It's shock value to be able to scare you so that they can sell more advertising dollars because they've got more viewership, right? So it's always someone's opinion. So I'm removing media out of my entire mind frame. All of my millionaire agents, and by the way, the ones that are not at $1 million, I coach about 30 some odd people. 6 of them that are not at $1 million are having their best year ever. It's their best year that they've ever had in the business. And I'll tell you, I got 2 that are struggling, right? You know, so it's not like every single person in my schedule is just crushing it. I got 2 that I'm really having to push along and pull along sometimes, right? But the ones, every single one that's crushing, what I've said to them, and even the ones that aren't, I said, you need to have the strongest mindset ritual that you've ever had in your entire life for the next 45 days. You need to be doing your gratitudes, and this, I know you've all heard this, you need to be writing down every single day what you're grateful for. You need to be watching something that is inspiring to you every single day, listening to a podcast. You need to be reading just 10 pages a day. I mean, it isn't like you have to like read an entire book. It's just 10 pages a day. Spend 10 minutes a day watching something that is inspiring, 10 minutes a day writing out what you're grateful for and the wins and the successes that you've had. You need to make sure also, and I would write this down, for the next 30 or 45 days, I'm going to recommend you remove every single person that is a negative influence on you, right? What if you're married to them? I don't know. Start prospecting. I'm not sure what the answer is for that, but you gotta, but the game is shield yourself these next 30 or 45 days from the distraction of this election. Be responsible as a voter, educate yourself, please vote. It's the thing that makes our country great. But remember, the more time you spend getting sucked into the web of that negativity, the less time you get to spend and the less energy you have to serve clients and to be able to support and assist and guide and push them forward, which they're going to need it, right? Because chances are everyone's going to be concerned and fearful. Oh my gosh, what if Trump gets elected? Oh my gosh, what if Biden gets elected? Oh my gosh, the sky is falling. And post-election, my friends, there will be some protest regardless of which side of the aisle actually gets elected. You have to keep your head about you when nobody else is, right? And the way you do that is through a really diligent mindset ritual and practice, okay? Now, I want to go in 2 weeks, tactical lead generation strategies. Tactical lead generation strategies. What's working to get listings? How many of you guys want to get more listings? Raise your hand, say aye. Okay, beautiful. That's what we'll spend 30 minutes on in 2 weeks, right? And I don't want to eat up Randy's time that he has with you guys, but I do want to be able to have a chance to contribute to you, and selfishly share with you what's working so that you guys can just crush crush the rest of this year, right? And you guys love to compete. How many of you guys love competition? Okay. Here's what I would say. I don't want you just to beat your competition. I want you to annihilate them between now and the end of the year. Because in my opinion, if you're part of this organization, there's no better agent for the buyers and sellers to work with than you. And it would be doing a disservice not for you not to get on the phone, not to close a couple more times, right? And be responsible for them getting a shitty agent instead of having the privilege and the honor to work with you because you put their interests first. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. So awesome. Any questions? I got a couple of minutes here. So questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, come off mute if you want to ask a question. Everybody's muted right now. Come off mute.
Hey there, this is Amy. I'm from Portland, Oregon. I have a niche market with floating homes. I find where I'm getting stuck is upgrading my systems. I'm at that level where I need to hire somebody and I need to have my systems better. And I'm scared to do it. So I'm currently doing it all.
Got it. Have you ever hired an assistant before?
Briefly, just a transaction coordinator, but my market is so niche, it doesn't fall into the norm.
So Amy, here's what I would recommend. You need to sit down and evaluate just how much your time is worth per hour. Take your total commissions that you're going to earn this year and divide it by 52 weeks, divide that by 40 hours. It's going to give you your per hour rate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you need to look at everything that you're doing during the course of your day. You need to do a little self-analysis that is not at that level, that is not worth that amount of income. You get some clarity around what the role of your assistant is going to be based upon your unique situation. Sure, I could send out to you and say, here's a whole bunch of things that an assistant needs to do, and that could be a good launching point for you. But remember, this is an assistant that's built around what your needs are. And the mistake that I see a lot of people make is they hire an assistant and then they try and figure out what the role is versus saying, here's the role in advance. Here's the daily task. Here's the what I need you doing every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday. Here's what you're going to do every day, regardless of whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? And here's the skills that this person needs to have. Because what you want to do is get clarity, because clarity is power, on the right position, right? Okay, what the position is, and then identify who your avatar is for that role, what their background, what their history. Now, I know this is not politically correct, but I would go, are they male or are they female? Are they older or are they younger? I mean, I would go all the way down to that on who works best for you, okay, right? And then be able to start doing the ads on Wise Hire, okay?
I love that, Bill, because you did that exact routine with me, and I found the perfect avatar, which was kind of new for me. In EXP, we have avatars, but it was a different look at it. But that was on point, and I ended up hiring the best assistant I've ever hired in 18 years. And that was through Wise Hire, like you recommended. So thank you. I'll attest to that.
And you know, guys, I need to jam really quick because I've got a call with one of my great teams that's in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm down for 2 weeks from excitement and enthusiasm and follow through on what we talked about, right? Leaving this call. So remember, if I were coaching you, the assignment I would give you is get clarity on your numbers, get clarity on next year, go through the questions. What skills do I need to develop? What disciplines and behaviors do I need? One discipline or behavior do I need to work on at the end of this, for the end of this year? What is the system or individual that I need to hire? And what's going to be my mindset program to be able to level myself up to a higher level of thinking, because you're paid to the level that you think. Okay. So my friends, mad love for you. Always here. A friend of Byrd's, right, is a family member of mine. So, you know, you guys need anything, I'm always here to support. Thank you guys for the time that I had with you today. Crush it. Look forward to talking to you guys all.
Right.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Randy.
Everybody, I recorded this. My power's a second away from going out. I think it's like it's coming unglued outside right now, and Dawn and I are both in Oregon. But thank you for being here. This is recorded. I'll go ahead and get this thing out maybe to Dawn, and he can distribute it to the team. And I just appreciate you being here. So I'm excited about getting Bill back in a couple weeks. Anybody have any questions for me or anything before we wrap up? Okay, hearing none, let's get to your agent attraction today. Let's take that power hour, book that 1 hour, and focus on what you can accomplish in the next hour.
Well, I would just like to see if we could.
Hey, Randy.
Yeah.
Randy. Yeah. Tom Daves was starting to say something. I don't think you heard him speaking. He was starting to share something.
Yeah, no, bro.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Randy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Yeah. I know for myself, I was totally inspired by Bill. And so I'm going to go ahead and take action. And
Of course.
that's right. And write down some of the nuggets and some of my goals. And then in 2 weeks, kind of report back. So if anybody else wants to jump in for when we circle back with Bill Pipes in 2 weeks, any nuggets, put them into action. Just one thing. I mean, if you can just master one thing in the next 2 weeks, what's it going to be? So that's my nugget.
I love it. I thank you, Don. I appreciate that. Typical Bill, I got 2 pages of single-spaced, notes. So a lot to consider. And I appreciate the organization. Thanks for being here. We had a big crowd today, and I did record it. So I'll get this out to everybody so they can watch it, stop it, digest it, and put it into action, more importantly. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Crush your Friday. And again, get that 1 hour of power hour in every single day. And that's the discipline of champions. That really is.
Thank you, Randy. Thanks for putting this together, my man.
Yeah, thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Randy. Good job.
Randy.
All right. Bye for now.
Thank you.